My lord, Danan was in a hurry. He requested that I deliver this.
Audio. Immediate return to Madrid. Mission annulled. Mission annulled? Who do they take me for? Their valet? Mission annulled? Order me? Those miserable specimens! I am Prince Ali Bey! No one gives me orders! No one! Do they know who I am? They're gonna pay! The payment! I'm Ali Bey! I'm Ali Bey! I'm Ali Bey! You're gonna be treated like this!
Good day, Colonel Arias.
Thunder? Hurricane. Suggesting we overcome the enemy by putting soldiers up in the sky. What a genius idea. Your protege certainly isn't short of imagination, Colonel Arias.
For his next quest.
Exploration of Morocco and Africa?
He has intentions for the exploration of all of Morocco from north to south, as far as Timbuktu. A mysterious place no one knows.
Unbelievable. A military man who has ambitions for war but is interested in the culture of Africa. Incredible. What's his name?
Domingo Badia, Senor Prime Minister. Captain Badia is most diligent and a natural poet. A Catalan who speaks 5 languages, including Arabic. He also excels in the study of mathematics and astronomy, and is recognized by the best academies in Europe.
Quite the man I've been searching for. Please, sit down. I'm beginning to think he would be perfect for my project in Morocco. But for now, let him concentrate solely on balloon flight. Once it's over, bring him straight to me.
Incredible. Simply incredible. This would change the course of any battle without a shadow of a doubt.
Which isn't right yet. But you will be sure to tell His Excellency, won't you? You'll tell him I almost succeeded.
Yes. But even though success was near, the threat of failure was ever present. But fear not, there are more important matters. In particular, His Excellency wants you for a project that's much more exciting.
It's a sin to try to reach the heavens, Domingo Badia.
Soon you will be in Africa helping me. Over there, you will find a country overflowing with grain almost no distance away from our shores. The Sultan Moulay Slimane refuses to sell us any because he doesn't like Christians. Spanish Christians in particular.
He would rather sell his grain to the English, who in return are supplying him with weapons for his army.
An army which will one day wage war against the coastal garrisons we've established at Ceuta and Melilla. It needs a brave and determined man. Colonel Arias has assured me that you possess all the qualities of such a man. And I believe him.
Your Excellency does me a great honor.
Then you shall go to Morocco and remain there for as long as you deem necessary. The Sultan will welcome you and no doubt be intrigued by you. He's a man of culture, fascinated with literature and science, mathematics and astronomy.
If the Sultan is interested in astronomy, we somehow need to capture his attention. I'll go to London and buy instruments, which will amaze him.
Excellent idea. That would be a marvelous way to gain his confidence. Well, that is precisely what we are here to discuss. Spend time gaining his confidence so you can travel freely around the country. Discreetly make contact with tribes we know to be hostile to the regime. When the time is right, you must stir up a revolt. You must unite them together to rise against the Sultan in order to replace him with a ruler who will favor us.
Eliminate the Sultan, Excellency. I'm a man of honor.
Captain Badia, you are first and foremost a soldier. Gentlemen, a decision. Colonel Amaros will give you all the communication details, including a secret code. Our consul in Morocco will act as intermediary, and, of course, to be quite clear, none of this information has been passed to His Majesty. It's my own secret mission, strictly between the three of us. It's our secret. Are we clear?
Quite clear, Excellency.
Good. So now we have a plan. We will. First, you will go to see Napoleon's Minister of Foreign Affairs in Paris. He is a friend of mine called Talleyrand. He's precisely the man who can help build you a new profile. I have great faith in you. A man of action, unafraid of danger.
His Excellency Mahmud Pasha, Ambassador to the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire.
Your Excellency, allow me to present. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your rank.
General, obviously. You're well aware that Napoleon needs to know everything that's going on, especially the people meeting his ministers. So what should I tell him? That unfortunately, at this moment, a general wasn't available, so Senor Godoy has seen fit to send Minister Talleyrand some minion. General who?
Badia, Your Excellency.
Ah, General Badia. That sounds impressive enough. You can leave. I think the plan you and Godoy have come up with is simply ingenious. Nevertheless, your impersonation must be absolutely perfect in order to avoid any doubt. So here's my proposal. I will resurrect a great Arab prince from Syria, a man I once knew whose name was Ottoman Bey, from the Abbasid dynasty, a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, and a great nationalist not afraid of upsetting the Turks. They threatened to kill him, so he fled to Spain, where he finally died. Let us imagine, about 15 years ago, he had an 8-year-old son when he fled Syria. His name was Ali. How do you like that name, Ali? Good. Well, yes, Ali. A couple more details. One is your physical appearance. You must grow a moustache and a long beard. It's very important for Muslims.
I shall make sure I do that.
And secondly, this is more delicate. A personal matter concerning the intimate parts. Suffice it to say that, like Jews, Arabs are circumcised. You have an uncanny grasp of the situation. When you travel to London, you'll meet with a specialist who will look after you, Blizzard. He will perform this little operation.
My God. I'm feeling better now.
Before I forget, Neville Maskelyne of the Royal Astronomical Society invites you to a reception on Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I hear that Lady Hester Stanhope will be in attendance.
Who is Lady Hester Stanhope?
She is the niece of Sir William Pitt, the Prime Minister of England. You'd think she was the Prime Minister herself. Very influential.
My lady, I can't apologize enough. The carriage bearing our illustrious guest, Mr. Badia, overturned, and I fear he will be late. Please accept my apologies.
Oh, do get out, my dear Mascaline. If you insist on bowing any lower, you shall topple over one day. And plant your nose in the ground like an ostrich with its head in the sand. Tell me instead about the Turk who has just made an entry.
A Turk, my lady?
My apologies for the delay, Sir Mascaline. I know you are waiting for Domingo Badia. Here I am.
But I do not understand.
I shall explain everything. But first, let me pay my respects without further delay to Lady Stanhope. Your ladyship, permit me to bow before your grace and beauty, and to hail the future Prime Minister of His Majesty, King George III.
Well, you are misinformed, sir. Please be aware that the actual Prime Minister, William Pitt, is my uncle. And he has absolutely no intention of handing the post to me, a post which I haven't the slightest wish to claim.
I know.
But now, sir, please have the courtesy to tell us who you are.
With pleasure. Sir Mascaline and the eminent fellow associates who make up this assembly have known me until now as Domingo Badia. In fact, I'm Syrian. My father, the Emir of Damascus, was persecuted by the Ottomans and forced to flee his country with his family and take refuge first in Italy, then in Spain. I grew up in Madrid, so it was practical to take on a Spanish name. But as I have now decided to renew ties with my noble past, I shall be known henceforth as Ali Bey Abbasi, Prince Ali Bey.
Your Royal Highness, you're most welcome.
My lady, in your gracious presence, our Academy wishes to recognize the endeavors of an esteemed member whose work has permitted us to resolve a difficulty which has perplexed us for many years. We thought him to be a Spaniard, but here he is a prince, originally from Syria. But more importantly, at last we have the answer to an enigma that has tormented us for years. And that's not to mention the gratitude we shall receive from the Academy in Paris. May I ask, Your Lady, to present this quadrant, the symbol of astronomy, to our friend Prince Ali Bey in recognition of his brilliant work?
It would have been too difficult for me to conceal my jealousy if someone else had been given the honor. Your Highness? Tell me, how are you getting back to your lodgings? You can hardly wander the streets of London dressed as you are with a quadrant proudly displayed under your arm.
Indeed, it could be difficult.
I'm thinking that I probably ought to accompany you to your lodgings in my carriage.
This is all about Saladin, the ruler of Egypt and Syria.
Saladin had only one failing. He was overgenerous towards his adversaries. He actually let them get away with their lives instead of allowing them to perish without pity. Perfectly noble. Let us continue no more with this discussion. I would like you to accept this as a gift. It's a copy of the Quran in calligraphy that's several centuries old. The bookseller who sold it to me says it was handwritten by none other than the great Persian poet Omar Khayyam.
Omar Khayyam?
Mm-hmm.
Lady Hester, I don't know how to thank you. It's a wonderful gift.
It's my pleasure. And I hope you can forgive me for attempting to keep you as my prisoner.
Dinner is served, my lady.
Ah, thank you, Miss Williams. I think that will be all for now, thank you. Would you happen to know Richard Brothers?
Richard Brothers. Was he the preacher who predicted the beheading of King Louis XVI of France?
Precisely. Take it. Do you know it?
Jerusalem and the Garden of Eden.
Let's skip to page 67.
Mounted on a splendid black horse, Lady Hester Stanhope rides out with her Praetorian guard, a huge burnous floating in the wind. And in these grandiose surroundings, graced with the magnificent structure of the Temple of the Sun, her guard will brandish sacred banners of white and green silk embroidered with Quranic verses, which the crowd will take up in chorus. Thus will she become Queen of Palmyra, the new Zenobia.
You are beautiful. So very beautiful.
When will you leave England for Morocco?
As soon as I've received the astronomical spyglass I've ordered. How long shall we be separated? 2 years? More, perhaps?
We will ride through the English consul in Morocco. I will arrange it.
Moulay Driss, the Sultan's nephew, is in the sitting room. He wishes to speak to you.
We are pleased to welcome you in our country, Prince. My uncle, the Sultan, is in Tangiers at the moment, and has been informed of your arrival. He aims to receive you after prayers.
I am deeply honored, and I'll do my best to reply to all the questions he chooses to ask me.
The Sultan never asks questions, sir. He's informed of everything. He doesn't give orders either. Everyone knows what he wants, and no one will run the risk of disobeying him.
Then how do you know what he wants if he never makes it known?
His most trusted servants have that ability.
Is a brown bass, an English rifle considered to be the finest in the world. I brought you 30 of them, sire, as well as 20 pistols.
So, just like that, it appears you have decided to settle in my country. Every good Muslim may feel at home here.
Sire, grant me the honor of accepting a gift which I'm sure my father would have wished to offer you. This is a unique copy of the Holy Quran, handwritten by Ibn Arabi in the year 926 in Hijra. It belonged to my father.
Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi. Muhammad, Ibn Ali, Ibn Arabi al-Hastimi. It's not possible. Can it be true? My mentor from whom I learned it all. Everything I now know. To think he wrote these lines in his very own hand.
Sire, it is not fitting for the Sultan to display his emotions in public, especially when there is a stranger among us, one whom we know almost nothing about.
A Sultan shouldn't be ashamed of his emotions. They are a sign of strength, of nobility. I now understand why he's been sent to us. To bring good fortune and the promise of peace.
This is an outrage. Impossible.
Ali, come near.
I believe I can confirm, Excellency, that I have made a favorable impression on the Sultan and managed to dispel any earliest suspicions he may have had about me. At the moment, I foresee the very best chances of success for the next stage of the mission entrusted to me. Salom.
Here I am, sir.
Take this letter to the Spanish consul, Don González Salmon. And make quite sure no one follows you.
Any idiot who tries to follow me won't make it to the end of the street.
One other thing. Promise me that nothing you see or hear will ever go beyond these walls.
Thanks to you, I'm no longer a slave. You saved my life. From now, it belongs to you. My lord, be careful. Jinan and Abdel Malek did not like it when the Sultan honored you in the mosque. Calling you to his side?
I didn't notice anything.
Son of a slave that I was. With all the thrashing I've endured in my youth, I know how to recognize someone who's about to make trouble.
Welcome to my house again.
Thank you. You surely noticed at the dinner last night, you were the only person with whom the Sultan shared his black bread. Do you know the significance of such favor?
No.
As far as he's concerned, you are a member of our family now. Indeed, you are like his son. We shall be cousins.
I believe there is an English consul here. How can I meet him?
Ah, yes, Bowditch. I can arrange a meeting with him.
Lady Hester Stanhope, the Prime Minister's niece, was of great help when I needed to make contact with the banks managing my father's fortune. I would like to express my gratitude by sending her a gift from Morocco.
Very well. The Sultan would like to meet you tomorrow evening. Bring your measuring instruments and calculating tables.
Sire, this is the measuring instrument which the Frenchman, Monsieur Lalande, has recently perfected. I had the privilege of working with him in Paris a few months ago. See how absolutely precise this quadrant is.
I know Lalande. If only we had men of his stature working with us here.
Just to shame me, the Sultan held this gathering. What else should I think other than he wants rid of me? I mean, ever since that man has arrived, he's the only one who matters, as far as the Sultan is concerned.
Jidan, think. No one knows the Sultan as well as you. He's inscrutable, always thinking in twists and turns. You have no idea. Do you really think he'd be making such a fuss over this unknown foreigner if he weren't to benefit?
Maybe, Abdel Malek. The question is, should I worry? What I think is we must do everything we can to find that Quran he gave our Sultan.
What for?
Once we get our hands on it, you will figure it out.
Dear Lady Hester, I've been in Tangiers for 2 weeks now. I have the honor of being the guest of the Sultan, who has been benevolent in his welcome. He is a pleasant, considerate man. A month ago, I was a free man, but I am held captive by our enchanted evenings in London. I am under the spell of your tenderness. To be enfolded in your arms is to know the heights of intoxicating happiness. Here, in Tangiers, the soft nights revive the memory of each embrace, the endless fire. Women this side of the Mediterranean wear little slippers, just like these ones I've sent you. Wear them like they do, to silence rumors when they hope for the return of a lover. You will also find incense, and as it burns, may its perfume remind you that we too have burned with passion. As for me, the Sultan wants me to go with him to Fez, the capital of his kingdom, about 15 days' ride from Tangiers.
Fez is the city of mosques.
الله على الولد انت السلاقه الله يحمي والدي الله يحني عليك. السلام عليكم. الله
Give him 2 drachmas.
Too much, far too much. As soon as your back is turned, this man with no legs will gallop around on his 2 feet.
السلاقه لولدي الله يحمي عليك. الله الله يطول عمركم يا سيدي. الله يطول عمركم يا سيدي.
Natural History by Gaius Plinus Secundus, Pliny the Elder. Keep this in your bag.
He walked for about 3 hours in the Medina with his manservant Salem. Just as you commanded, I set up some onlookers on his path, and they treated him with great respect. The crowd got bigger since he kept distributing to them arms left and right.
Mm-hmm. And tell me, how did the prince react to all of the attention?
Well, at first he was surprised, but then he got used to it. It was quite a natural reaction.
Ah, I see. Well. And then?
He went to the Caroline library, where he stayed for a long time. Before he left, he stole one of the old books that was lying around.
Interesting you should see it that way. He didn't steal, he simply borrowed the book. Is that not what libraries are for? Speak later. Well, my son, what do you think of Fez, our capital?
Fez is exciting and pleasantly surprising. I have only just come to your capital, and yet no matter where I go, I am treated with the utmost consideration and respect. The most ordinary of men react with a fervent attention towards my person, for which I am ill prepared after many long years in Europe.
What's so extraordinary? Everyone here knows you. As a direct descendant of Abul Abbas, uncle of our prophet, it's not surprising people are impressed by your lineage. Ali, I really need you to help me rouse my country from its stupor. It is a great pity that those who pass for scholars simply refuse to take any interest in science, believing that everything is in the Quran.
Whilst you're at it, my son, I would also be pleased if you could establish the lunar calendar for the next 3 years.
I'm well aware that it's very difficult.
Accepting a command from the Sultan is to receive grace. I accept with all my heart, and I will complete it with absolute precision.
Thank you. Ali, initially I would ask for your complete discretion. No one should hear of this. Particularly not Jinan. He will be deeply offended. I don't want to humiliate him.
My lord, Moulay Driss came a while ago. He brought you a present, sir. I placed it in a nice room upstairs.
A present? What's your name?
Tigmu, my lord.
Well, Tigmu, you are no longer a slave. You are free to go wherever you please.
Where can I go if you set me free? Nowhere.
If you send Tigmu away, sir, you'll be putting her in great danger. And you will offend Moulay Driss, who made a gift of her, thinking you would be pleased.
You don't give people as gifts, especially not a woman.
Moulay Driss will think it's her fault you are not pleased. And that's the worst thing that can happen to a woman in her situation.
So what should I do, Salem? What should I do?
Keep her. It's easy.
A descendant of the Prophet would never allow desecration of the Holy Book by writing Latin letters. Here's proof Ali Bey is not what he seems.
Abdul Malik,
didn't you tell me that the English consul, Bowditch, suspected Ali Bey of being a spy in the pay of the Emperor Napoleon?
He is indeed suspicious of him.
So, I have taken great pains to copy this page exactly as it appears in the book. Take it to Consul Bowditch. Ask him to send it to a specialist in London to see if it's as it seems. If we can confirm the handwriting isn't that of Ibn Arabi, Ali Bey will be strung up by the Sultan just like that.
Today, you are to meet a man who I now think of as my son, Prince Ali Bey. His superior scientific knowledge and moral values are without question. He's been living amongst us for several months now. We are here to listen to him speak the truth as he sees it. Prince Ali Bey, feel free to speak with honesty, my son, as someone who was brought up in Europe. What's your opinion of our country?
I admire the wise and glorious Sultan. The opulence and diversity of the realm, its hardy, enterprising inhabitants, all in spite of the overwhelming ignorance and destitution of its people. In ages past, the most renowned doctors, mathematicians, and astronomers were Arab. 10 centuries ago, here in Fez, the Qarawin was for many long years one of the largest libraries in the world. It is disappearing, and nobody cares. Rats have taken it over, and they run about in the middle of those precious volumes, piled up in abandon. I am also obliged, by my conscience, to raise the question of slavery. Didn't the Prophet set slaves free, whatever the color of their skin? Belief in the mercy of Allah and submission to Him alone means that no one can become slave to another man. No one. And yet, slavery in this country, far from being abolished, is a thriving practice, and no one will say a word against it. And what to say about the way Yehudis are treated? What to make of the humiliation they endure? Are not all men equal before God?
Who do you think you are? You're nothing but an imposter. You treat our imams as illiterates. You humiliate them. You make claims about corrupt officials. You're the corrupt one, handing out huge sums of money just to gain popularity. Now you want to free our slaves and think you can tell our Jews to keep their shoes on. What gives you the right? You're leading our country to destruction.
Control yourself. Jiannin, just tell me, if you will, about the studies of astronomy that you and Ali Bey have made. I'm looking for an explanation. I'm surprised by the final numbers. The results are completely opposite. What excuse have you to give?
I have none.
And you, Ali, what do you have to tell me?
Your Excellency commanded some time ago that I take on this study. Shortly after that, Si Jiannin came to say on your behalf that I should carry out the very same calculations. Since I found the request rather strange, I gave him false results.
So therefore you asked him to do calculations that you had no intention of doing and were incapable of making for yourself?
It's true, my lord.
How dare you? Get out of my presence immediately. Forever. Prince Ali, I read in your report that you have predicted a solar eclipse for next month. Are you convinced this will take place?
There will be a solar eclipse on precisely the 6th of next month at 20 to 12. It will last for 35 minutes.
Of supernatural power that attracts all the clocks from the Al-Qarawin.
They are safer here.
Every eclipse, it's the same thing. No matter what we do to reassure them. They think it's a curse, and they try to make the moon go away by creating all this racket.
Who does explain the phenomenon? You? The ulemas? Or is it those half-senile old men who teach in the Quranic schools, forcing the Quran into children by repeatedly beating them on the head?
Everyone will turn against you if you continue talking like that. Even the Sultan, who supports you completely. The other day, in front of everyone, you said something about slavery, and yet the Sultan owns personally over 30,000 slaves. What's this book?
It's in Latin and it's centuries old. Would you believe that the author of this book, Pliny the Elder, describes the Roman protectorate in the time of Pontius Pilate in Palestine and doesn't once cite Jesus?
What do you mean? The prophet Jesus didn't exist. He's cited 17 times in the Quran.
25.
25 times.
25 times.
And he didn't exist. Be very careful, Ali. The most trusted people close to Jiannin are cowering because they're afraid of the Sultan. They've started talking about some hidden relationship between you and Salim, your servant.
How can I show my gratitude, sire?
Now on it is yours. You are one of the family now. Moreover, I'm going to ask you something I could only ask of a son. Ali, I'm certain that you're the only one who can persuade the tribal rebels, both to the north and the south, to put down their arms and join forces to rally round me, go to Mogador, and arrange a meeting with Bubka Ammush, our most feared enemy. He'll tell you all about their troubles, putting the blame on the Sultan and his merciless army. He'll tell you his side of the truth as he sees it. That the administration squeezes them with high taxes. Tell them they are right.
I have heard, sire, even at court, that the taxes were too high.
Perfect. All the more reason for you to agree with them. So when they hear it from you that the Sultan extends his hand, they'll swear allegiance to me. Ali, I feel that fate has brought us together. Now, go and take a look at your new home. We'll leave the details of your mission until later. Prince Ali Bey is going to Mogador soon. I'll order our governor there, Abdel Malik, to organize a grand festival in his honor. I want our faithful subjects to turn out in great numbers to cheer him on the way there and upon his return. Handle this with discretion. Their joy must be fervent and spontaneous, as if they were welcoming me as Sultan.
My uncle, no one says no to the Sultan. But what you're asking me to do is impossible. No one can be acclaimed like the Sultan.
You'll follow my orders, Driss. And that's all. Reveal nothing to Abdel Malik or anyone else.
There is a Yehudi at the gate, sir. He'd like to see you. Says it's rather urgent.
I was waiting for him. Let him in.
My name is Levy Dannon, sir. At your service.
Are you Moroccan, Mr. Dannon?
Yes, a Moroccan Jew, sir. Please allow me to convey what an honor it is to meet you and pay respectful homage from my community. You are a steadfast and impartial spokesman for us, and we appreciate it.
Prejudice is tenacious, certainly. But there is no injustice we cannot one day put an end to, Mr. Dannon.
My lord.
Consul from England.
I know Mr. Bowditch.
May I ask if you have news of Mr. Pitt, the Prime Minister, and his niece, Lady Hester?
Ah, the Prime Minister's health gives us all cause for concern. Lady Hester does everything she can to support him.
Accept my expression of concern for Mr. Pitt's health.
Certainly. I will indeed.
Don González Salomón, the consul from Spain.
As far as these isolated mountains. But surely, you must realize that your so-called protector, Sliman, isn't the legitimate ruler of this country. He's a usurper. He killed the rightful sultan with poison, making it seem as if he died of the plague. One day we will attack Fez, leaving one man alive. You will be that man.
I heard what you said, Bubka. Maybe others can hear you too.
Men, you are all dismissed.
Sultan Moulay Slimane proffers an olive branch. He wants to unite all the tribes to create one mighty, prosperous empire.
It's madness. Utterly preposterous.
Maybe so, but think about it. If I mediate this, your rebel tribes could finally unite, and who knows if in the end you would manage to find a way to get rid of the usurper.
Not without 5,000 rifles. Even that wouldn't be enough.
I understand your mistrust of him. But if there's rebellion, and you bring him down, what then? You know very well. Every tribe in the plain will rise up and you'll just kill off each other. Listen to me, Sibubka. I can supply those 5,000 rifles you need, but what I'm asking above all is unity amongst your tribes, without which any victory becomes an illusion. Think about it. I don't belong to any tribe or any faction, as you know. When Moulay Slimane is overthrown, I insist that only I, and I alone, will choose the next sultan. And no one can change that choice. No one.
All the governors and judges here are my lackeys. The people listen to me as if I'm an oracle and venerate me as if I were a demigod. At every turn, they praise my unique talent and my unique virtue and my unique learning and lastly, my unique powers. In short, I have become master of this empire.
In short, I have become master of this empire. What can I say? Our man Badia already has control over the Moors. He seems to have the entire country at his feet. Now, is it all too good to be true?
Your Excellency, even Don González Salmón, a person who pays more and more attention to detail, confirms the content of the message. And as we know too well, he, of all people, harbors his own concerns about Badia.
The success of Badia is without doubt impressive. That's clear. But I'd like to confirm a few things before we go any further.
Perhaps I could go to Morocco and verify the situation myself. I could meet Badia secretly and evaluate the situation as to what is the truth and what is total fantasy.
Well, then, make all the necessary arrangements you need to. We've invested too much time and money in this endeavor to fall at the last hurdle. Thank you, Colonel.
Excellency.
In short, I have become master of this empire.
Again. You told the Sultan that the Quran you gave him was handwritten by Ibn Arabi. Is that what you said? Speak.
Yes.
So the Latin characters written at the bottom of some pages, how do you explain that? Do you really think Ibn Arabi capable of defiling the Holy Quran? Do you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Say it! Say who sent you! The truth! Who are you?
I am Prince Ali Bey.
Harder! You can let him drink. We'll make him talk. Out!
My lord, Danan is here. He wants to see you.
Tell him to wait in my study. Give me time to get ready.
Sir, we were horrified to hear that you were the victim of such a terrible misfortune. Thank God the perpetrator has received the rightful punishment.
I see you've brought me something to read, Mr. Danan. I'll be in Tangiers at the end of the month. Make arrangements so we can meet. I must get the Sultan's permission again. In case things get difficult, I'm entrusting you with this bag, Mr. Danan. See the Spanish consul gets it so that he can send it on to Madrid.
My lord, may God keep you safe.
My lady, a parcel arrived for you today from Morocco. It's over there.
My lady, please accept this necklace which I designed myself just for you. It's handmade by only the finest craftsmen in Marrakesh. I hope you like it. Its brilliance will reflect the translucent tones of your skin when you enter Palmyra at last. Your Prince Ali.
Ali, I may trust you and place you in my protection, but don't forget, you are not the Sultan.
That is something I can never forget, sire, and I won't do anything without your permission. As it happens, I need your consent to travel to Tangiers in a few days' time.
To Tangiers? For what reason?
Sheikh Obendi, chief of the Northern Brotherhood, wants to see me.
But his influence is much greater in Algeria, where the Dey holds him in high esteem. And as you know, the Dey positively detests every bone in my body.
I know, but allow me to stress the importance of this, sire. Sheikh Obendi keeps alive the deep discontent of the northern populations who feel you have ignored them.
Those were lies propagated by Obendi himself.
Of course, but lies spread easier than truth. Meanwhile, it would be wise to bring Obendi into the picture. If he wants to see me, it must surely be because he has something to offer.
Fine. If you think that, you must go. But only with one word of advice. Never forget that the Dey and Obendi are two scorpions far more venomous than those which crawl on your back. Let Allah protect you.
and are here to pay you homage, sire. And in anticipation of your arrival, no one has slept for 3 days. Please will you accept this gift of a golden cutlass, encrusted with precious stones, my lord.
My lord, this is Senor Castillo de la Plana, and his assistant, Pedro Sanchez. He's a negotiator for the Spanish grain trade with approval from King Ferdinand himself. He came to Tangier 3 days ago, my lord.
A grain trade negotiator. You're just the kind of man Morocco needs. Organize a feast of wild boar and make sure our guest is treated with every care and consideration. Now that we're alone, I'm curious to know one thing, Sheikh Effendi. This magnificent golden saber offered to me by the northern tribes, was it your doing?
It was a gift from all the peoples of the north. What do you think? Listen carefully to me. The Dey of Algiers agrees to supply 15,000 Kabyle fighters, but on one condition, and this is important. He negotiates directly with you, no one else.
Agreed. Where do I meet him?
In Algiers, of course. It couldn't be elsewhere. The politics will change with Moulay Slimane out of the way, and it will affect everything that is happening here for the better, which will hopefully enhance relations with neighbors.
Obviously.
And it wouldn't be at all surprising to me if negotiations started between the Dey and the future Sultan.
The future Sultan? My involvement is neutral. I have not the least intention of claiming power.
You are the direct descendant of Abu al-Abbas, uncle of the Prophet. May he rest in peace. What could be more natural than to claim your heritage by laying claim to the Caliphate? As far as we're concerned, you're completely worthy of the responsibility. A journey which is your duty, so I say to you. Declare yourself, and both I and the whole of the Northern Territories will be at your side, with 15,000 fighters the Dey of Algiers will provide.
I've studied the tides and the currents very carefully. We can easily land cannon, munitions, and soldiers here without a problem. Sheikh Effendi's men would come in small units to help with the landing. Take a look.
Yes, you have certainly picked the perfect place. Domingo, I must confess that His Excellency Godoy and I had begun to doubt you. You must understand that all your exploits seem to be impressive, but almost impossible and incredible.
Understandable. I even doubted myself sometimes. Amoros, time is running out. You must send the arms and ammunition I so badly need. I can be unmasked and eliminated at any moment. And then a unique chance for Spain to extend its influence all over the Mediterranean will be lost.
I understand that, and so does Godoy, rest assured. But to do as you ask, it will take time. For a start, he must get permission from His Majesty. And in that respect, we must all show patience and understanding. I know that you are aware that this is far more complicated than either you and I are admitting. It's all very well toppling the Sultan. But who is going to replace him? Have you found someone we could support?
The Sultan is surrounded by lazy courtiers. Most of them can't read or write. And for the moment, I fear there is no one in the entire realm capable of assuming rule as we would wish.
Well then?
Well, I wonder. But I will find someone.
This Badia will never cease to amaze me. What he said is true, then?
I witnessed the most extraordinary sights. Everywhere he appears, he's surrounded by worshipping crowds.
Now tell me, has he suggested a successor to the Sultan?
Yes, Excellency.
Who might that be? Can you tell me?
I suspect he would be secretly delighted if he became Sultan.
To hell with him. We didn't see that coming. We've created a monster out of the man. Badia could become very dangerous. Power is a mighty aphrodisiac that can turn the heads of the best of men. The moment he's Sultan, he'll forget all loyalty to his mother country.
I believe that while he still needs our support, he doesn't represent any danger to us.
Yes, Colonel. Let's keep the status quo. For now.
Excellency, do you not think now is the time to inform His Majesty of the situation?
Right now, the king is away at his hunting lodge. When he returns, I'll speak to him. We can only hope he gives his consent.
Sending a scientific mission to Morocco under the direction of Badia seems such a reasonable idea that I gave it immediate approval. Now what's this I'm hearing? The mission has been transformed into a plot to overthrow the Sultan, added to which Badia has been bestowed with every honor. The Sultan has showered him with favors. A palace, slaves, concubines. It's an intolerable abuse of my authority. An abomination!
Your Majesty, if I may take a moment to justify the importance of this mission. For example, let's start with the Sultan, who's hostile towards us, correct?
Of course, but all of this is old news. By promoting this, what do you call it, scientific exploration mission that passes more for a comedy, you are condoning a madman's desperate grab for power.
But surely this would be to Spain's advantage. Consider the situation. Napoleon has but one dream, one objective. Invade Spain as soon as possible and make it part of his empire. If we were to gain supremacy over Morocco, we'd be stronger, more powerful, better respected.
I appointed you as Prince of Peace. Instead, you have become the Prince of Warfare. Do I have to remind you that the King of Spain is king by the grace of God Almighty, and not by the whim of this upstart Napoleon? I'd never accept a gift even of an empire from the hands of a heretic.
A heretic, sire?
Do you think I don't know Badia had himself circumcised?
That was so he wouldn't be found out, Your Majesty. It was just a precaution. Badia has certainly not renounced his faith.
Badia is circumcised, that makes him a Muslim. In my eyes, he's a heretic, an apostate. I want nothing more to do with him. You must put an end to his mission immediately, and order his return to Spain forthwith.
I will do as you say, sire.
Your Excellency.
Excellency, Excellency, Excellency. I bring him an empire on a platter, and he rejects it out of hand. And you know why? For something as simple as a snipped foreskin.
I am Prince Ali Bey! No one gives me orders! No one! ¡Soy animal! ¡Piensa que están jugando!
I'm a descendant of the Prophet. The people love me, worship me. My destiny lies here. Am I Ali Bey, descendant of the Prophet?
I'll take that book.
Who was that at the door?
Moulay Idris. He was sent by the Sultan to check up on your condition. I told him you had a delayed reaction from the poison of the scorpion.
Well, why didn't you show him in?
My lord, you started saying things in your sleep that are best not to be overheard by others.
Since you now know of my plan, you understand I must act. The tribal chiefs are waiting for my word. They're getting more and more impatient. It is vital I meet the day in Algiers. If I get all the men I need, I can manage without the Spanish and succeed in doing what they turned their backs on.
But the Sultan will never let you go.
I'll find a way to convince him. I shall make a powerful empire of this country. I shall be Caliph. And I shall be good to my people. Abolish slavery, allow religious freedom for Jew and Christian as well as Muslim. I shall be the Caliph of the learned, the poets and artists. For without science and art, empires are straws in the wind. You think I'm dreaming, don't you? Yes, Salam. It is a dream. The Caliph's dream. From this day, I shall devote every instant of my life to making it come true.
May God hear you and grant you victory over your enemies.
I am so happy to see you again, my son. The fear of losing you made me realize, if I didn't already know it, just how much I have come to rely on you.
These long days of suffering were also of some use. I found a guiding light in the prayer. The time has come for me to go on a pilgrimage to Mecca. To keep on delaying it allows the incidental to come before necessity, the unimportant before the essential.
Ali! It's quite the contrary. Are you out of your mind, my son? It's thanks to you that all the tribes are swearing allegiance to me. They are rallying to the cause, one by one. Right now we can raise an army of 100,000 men. Yet you choose to leave? At the very moment I decide to declare a jihad against the Spanish infidels by taking back Andalusia? My son, if I didn't hold you so dear to my heart, I'd mistake you for a traitor.
On the contrary, I must leave to serve you better. To declare jihad against the Spanish at this time would be a serious mistake. There are still too many obstacles in our way, sire.
My son, this is no time to delay. This is a time for action. 10 times or more you were bitten on the back by black scorpions, yet you survived. Any lesser mortal would be dead. I see this as a sign from Allah. Because it is you who will be the one that will lead my troops into Granada. You know there is nothing more powerful than an idealist.
Whose time has come.
Then you know the words of Ibn Arabi.
Of course. It was said to Prince Naufel to encourage him to retake Baghdad. But conditions are not the same for us. We must not take risks. The key to our success is in Algiers. If Muslims can't agree with each other, how is victory possible? On this journey, before or after it, I shall go through Algiers and have an audience with the Dey, and then, with the authority of the Hajj, I'll persuade him to form an alliance and to take part in jihad. We shall be invincible, Father.
That is the first time that you have ever called me father.
Has sent us. I bring important news. The Dey of Algiers has been murdered. His enemies have taken power. They're after you. You must escape.
The Dey of Algiers dead. Almighty God. The expedition is meaningless. We are in danger. We must travel south.
South? The desert? That's madness. Our animals are exhausted and we have no provisions left. No one travels through the desert without a guide.
You're right, Salam, but we have no choice. We cannot risk being slaughtered. Says the Sultan is amassing his armies for jihad.
What is that, pray tell?
Jihad is a holy war for Muslims. The conquest of Andalusia. That is the Sultan's ambition.
Invading Andalusia? And Badia, is there any word? Do we know where he is?
He's been missing for several weeks. And the Jewish intermediary, Danan, has been discovered murdered in some back street in Fez.
This is serious. Very serious. But let's not do anything hasty. First and foremost, we have to get hold of that damn Catalan, like all mavericks. He's like a hydra. Cut off one head, another soon appears. You must find him, alive or dead.
Christian on one side, Muslim on the other. I shall be called traitor. What a way to die.
My beloved prince, will this letter ever reach you? Since the death of my uncle, my life has gone from bad to worse. My bitterness towards Europe, and especially towards England, has grown into a rage, an uncontrollable fury. It festers within me like a disease. And now I live in solitude, in a cottage, in the country. My influence is gone. My funds have run dry. That's all there is to it. I look at myself in the mirror and see a stranger, a woman who is no longer youthful or innocent, a woman whose face is lined with despair and rancor and melancholy. Dearest Prince, I wonder if you have any idea of my distress. What's the use?
Service has been following Levi Danon for months to establish that he was indeed the intermediary. We managed to obtain incriminating evidence that I'm handing over to you now.
Mr. Bowditch, are you sure these are not forgeries meant to discredit Ali Bey?
Whilst England maintains such a good relationship with the Sultan, why risk making such an error? The message is clear. Bukka will receive 5,000 rifles and ammunition. As for this Quran, it was bought from Revsby, a well-known bookseller in London. Finally, and this concerns Ali Bey, his real identity is one Domingo Badia. He's nothing more than a Catalan serving in the Spanish army.
I don't think it's worth you waiting to see the Sultan. You can accompany Mr. Bowditch to the door. I shall come to see you if the Sultan wishes. The Sultan won't move from here. He's going to pray all day and all night.
What do you say, Moulay Driss? The Sultan's praying for a traitor?
That's enough. I'm very close to my uncle, and I know him more than anyone else. He loved my father. And when he died like this, he prayed for 2 days and 2 nights.
What are you saying? The Sultan has foiled conspiracy after conspiracy without pity towards his enemies. Are you implying he's going soft on this spy, this criminal?
Am I right in thinking you take me for a complete simpleton, Abdul Malik? Everything Ali Bey did was with my consent alone. When he traveled with my personal bodyguard, when he had meetings with the rebel chieftains, it was entirely at my behest with the sole aim of serving my political ambitions. I always knew he might abuse the privilege and become power-hungry.
But he's a spy and a fake. An infidel who wanted to get rid of you.
Ali Bey will be Prince Ali Bey for as long as the people believe it. I have sent my best soldiers to track him down.
The Sultan has seen to it that you have everything you need. It's a long journey to Mecca. It will take about 3 months under sail.
Once again, the Sultan is full of goodness towards me.
He is at the port of Larash where a boat awaits to carry him to Mecca.
I'm astonished. You'd let him get away? He deserves the gallows.
Yes, Abdel Malik. And for very good reason. First of all, it wouldn't look good to make a martyr. Second, and more importantly, the people will soon forget the prince.
It's time to board, sir.
Salem.
Wait. You'll travel alone, my lord. Now and forever.
What do you mean, forever?
Those are the Sultan's orders, and they must be obeyed.
I'll come back. I'll come back. I'll come back.
Take your hands off me! Tell the Sultan that Prince Ali Bey will soon return! A Sultan!
Prince Ali Bey, Your Highness!
Good day, Miss Williams.
We never thought we'd see you again. It's been a whole year without even the slightest word. My lady has been in such a state of despair that many times I feared for her sanity, that she might never recover. In part, she was comforted by the memories of past happiness, and she longed for you to return. And your silence, your prolonged absence, only served to compound her distress.
Prince Ali Bey. But what's happened to those magnificent robes you wear?
It is sometimes appropriate to melt away in the masses and pretend to be an Englishman in England.
You aren't able to melt away in a crowd of 1,000.
A singular passion. My whole life has been devoted to study. My joy lay in books, and yet I dreamed of an empire.
My uncle was exhausted by governing. A slave to a worthless constitution. Shackled by parliamentary tyranny.
I believe in the value of constitutions. And that's the first thing I will apply on my return to Morocco.
The French cut off the head of King Louis XVI, all in the name of having a constitution. 15 years later, what was the point? So that they could become subjects dominated by an even more powerful sovereign? The Emperor Napoleon? I've made a decision. By the beginning of autumn, I will have already left for the Orient. To Syria. What will become of me is in God's hands.
To which God do you trust your future? That of Christians or Muslims? I notice more books on the Quran than on the Bible.
Don't tease me. The Islamic faith seems to me to be devoid of all pomposity and vain ritual. A relationship with God that isn't cluttered up with intermediaries. It attracts me. More and more. And what are your plans?
If I want to conquer Morocco one day, I need to find a new supporter. Who else but the Emperor Napoleon, with the whole of Europe in his grip? His troops recently invaded Spain.
Napoleon's invaded Spain?
Yes.
I would have preferred it to have been England.
My dear lady, you surely do not wish to make of your own country an enemy?
But yes, I do. I really do. For some time now, this country has meant nothing to me. This is probably the last time we will ever be here together. Nothing to say? You're thinking about Napoleon, aren't you?
I read with interest the report you sent me from Monsieur de Talleyrand. Seems that after your long stay in Morocco, you took a pilgrimage to Mecca. And you're the first Christian to have done that, I've been told. Your Hajj has given you recognition as a Muslim. Is that true?
Yes, sire.
So what are you, finally? Are you a Christian or a Muslim?
I believe in God.
A foot in each camp. Talleyrand. General Badir applies your favorite strategy. You'd think he was your student.
I take that as a compliment, sire.
On your return journey, you visited Syria, Jerusalem, and the Ottoman Empire. You still dream of Morocco and say you can make it ours. But, General, what is it you expect from us?
Majesty, it needs but a sign from me for the insurgent tribes to overthrow the Sultan. But to strengthen their forces, they need 20,000 rifles and ammunition to go with them.
And you? Why do this? What is it you want for yourself?
It's up to your Imperial Majesty to decide.
Well then, General,
We are going to wait until you can produce any documentation that will prove the true extent of your influence in Morocco. Only then can we make a decision. You may leave.
Your Imperial Majesty, I leave tomorrow for Madrid, where I put the documents for safekeeping. Monsieur Talleyrand?
This prodigy of yours, Talleyrand, a genius or a madman?
A delicate balance between both of them, sire. It's a subtle combination that creates great men.
Forgetting your impertinence for a moment, Talleyrand, should we help him, yes or no?
We should wait and see if he gets back from Spain. I have heard from my deputies that the population is in revolt over their new sovereign. Seems they do not appreciate or can't adjust to the qualities of your older brother, Joseph.
Is it ever going to be possible to get a straight answer from my Minister of Foreign Affairs?
Well, if that is what you really desire, change the minister, sire.
Abdicated. Godoy has disappeared. Rather than flee with him, I decided it was my duty to help the new monarch administer his country. A country of which he knows nothing about. The great Joseph may be Napoleon's brother, but the people hate him and see him as a usurper. And you, but are you, at the very moment you could offer some vital service to your country? I can't believe you're still dreaming of Morocco. Morocco, nothing but Morocco!
Whether we understand it or not, each must follow his destiny, simple or glorious. Mine is to become Sultan.
Sultan of Morocco, so you said.
Do you think a title matters to me? Didn't you see for yourself? The people there venerated my person. How can I betray those expectations? Now, thanks to Talleyrand's intervention, there's a good chance Napoleon will back me.
Forgive me. I didn't mean to offend you. We've always been friends, Domingo. At least I hope so. I hope you still think of me as your friend. There, the documents you wanted.
Now! Come on! Run!
Take that off! The people are starving and you're wearing gold! Yeah, put that on!
6 months, no end, son. Oh, I can't take it anymore. Colonel Boutin, I'm begging you to talk to her for heaven's sake.
What person would be capable of convincing that lady? To give up what she sees as a lifelong dream. Especially as we both know this voyage is a fresh start for her. Have a little patience. We are almost in sight of Syria, within reach of Damascus. And that wonderful country shall be your haven of peace and tranquility. Believe me, I've already been there 3 times for my archaeological work.
I have no wish to see a wild land full of pagans. I just want to go back to England. Sorry.
Do you never tire of contemplating the ocean's vastness, my lady?
It's fascinating. For a start, it helps wash away all the sadness inside of me. From time to time, between the waves, I can see the face of a man I once loved.
My lady, you possess such strength.
And yet I am weak when I think of the dreams we once shared. But I know he is dead. Yet I cannot abandon hope in my heart. This voyage is a pilgrimage to a sacred land where my beloved used to live. To Syria, Damascus. These enchanting words bring us ever closer.
While Ali Bey languished in a succession of Spanish jails, Lady Hester left England forever. Before long, a legend spread across the region, from Damascus to Constantinople, which told of an English noblewoman endowed with supernatural powers who was capable of terrorizing the fiercest of warriors. Known as the Englishwoman and feared and worshipped by all, she retreated to her hideaway, Mar Elias, in the heart of the Syrian mountains.
Lady Hester.
You are most welcome here.
Thank you for the honor of receiving me.
This way.
You have been here hardly 1 year, and already all that anyone talks about is the English lady.
English or lady, I don't know which of the 2 words upsets me the most. The title of lady is worthless. I am a woman above all else. Emir Bashir Shanab II, permit me to introduce you to the renowned archaeologist, to whom we owe recognition for his discovery of the temple at Abu Simbel.
I know Colonel Boutin. He left the service with Napoleon to pursue his interest in archaeology, isn't it?
That's correct, sire.
I took him to Palmyra 2 years ago.
He is going there again, but this time at my bidding, to study the reign of Zenobia in the Temple of the Sun.
They say you can commune with invisible spirits, and they are afraid of the power you exude over the supernatural.
Nothing of the sort. God alone has such powers. Although it is true that I've learnt to read the stars.
They also say that you gave up your religion to submit to the laws of Islam.
I believe in Allah and his messenger, the Prophet. The only laws I recognize are those I make for myself. So consequently, I don't follow the laws made by men. Emir Shanab, you know I wish to travel to Palmyra.
The Syrian desert has just one Palmyra, as there is just one sun in the sky. I'd strongly advise against it. The region is jealously held by Muhammad Fadl, the chief of the Anizah Bedouins. He's an extremely dangerous man. He would think nothing of taking you captive and holding you for ransom.
I'm in no danger. It's written in the stars and not for us to question. My fate is to go to the desert and meet the chief of the Anizah Bedouin.
It is your destiny to meet Muhammad Fadl? Tell me, Lady Hester, what drew you to this abandoned place?
A prophecy linked my destiny to that ancient city and to that of her first queen, Zenobia.
And what did it say, this prophecy?
There are prophecies which are better not revealed, if one hopes they'll come true.
In Spain, you are all subjected to brutal violence by those who oppose the legitimate regime and its ruler, Joseph Napoleon I. In his great bounty, the Empress saved you from your torment. Today, you'll be able to return to your homes without fear.
I know
Until
him.
then, you must be patient and suffer the unfortunate trials
I'm sure I
you're forced
know
to
him.
endure. Continue to endure without complaint.
Colonel Legoff! Colonel Legoff! I'm Domingo Badia. Badia! General Badia!
Soldier!
Don't you remember our meeting in Paris with Minister de Talleyrand?
General Badia, what on earth has happened to you? What has brought you to this?
For the same reason these poor wretches pay the price of freedom for their loyalty to France.
Alas, I am not in a position to do anything to help them. But as far as you're concerned, General, I shall personally attend to your situation before the day is out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. May I introduce my friend, Count Amaros?
My lord, naturally you will also be under my protection. I will do everything in my power to get you to Paris as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Since when were you a general and me a count?
Since prison nearly made wild animals of us. If I get out of this hellhole alive, I will write a book about it. You are the publisher, Monsieur Didot, and know better than I what to do, but since you ask, I'd say it would be better to leave my real name out of it, and to keep only that of Ali Bey, a little enigma for the reader.
Very good idea. Let's maintain this man of mystery. Philippe, remove Mr. Badia's name, please.
Thank you, sir.
Are you aware that I'm preparing a voyage to the Orient? Of course, nothing compared with your exploits. But I hope to bring back a series of articles for the Gazettes.
Thank you, Monsieur Didot. May I wish you a pleasant voyage.
Oh, thank you. Let me show you out.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله رب العالمين
الحمد لله رب العالمين
الرحمن الرحيم
الرحمن الرحيم
مالك يوم الدين
I found the body of Bhutan near Al-Jomra. They gouged out his eyes, cut off his hands, and left his entrails for the vultures. This was the Shambha's doing.
Those heathens have assassinated him to challenge me. There is no time to waste. Gather 20 fighters immediately and we shall go to Damascus. Aisha! 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 Monsieur Didot, I shall be gone for several days. Aisha, please take good care of Monsieur Didot until I get back.
Monsieur Didot.
Thank you, Aisha. Aisha, what's wrong? Why are you crying?
My name isn't Aisha, Monsieur Didot. My real name is Elizabeth Williams. I am English. I've been a faithful companion to Lady Hester ever since her mother died when she was 5 years old.
And you've loyally accompanied her all this way? Even sacrificed your real name? That's incredible devotion.
Do you think she gave me any choice? Lady Hester insists she only wants true believers in her midst. None but the followers of Islam. One day, when she saw me making the sign of the cross, she tried to strangle me. Oh, listen to those prayers which continue through the day and through the night. Lady Hester swears that they will only cease on the day of glory. The day when the last prophet will appear, and he shall create God's realm here on earth, right before our very eyes. She is sure the time is drawing near, and that she will be called upon to play a very important role by this prophet. I heard her murmuring in euphoric tones, "My betrothed."
Are you sure of that, Miss Williams? It's very hard to believe.
I have witnessed more cruelty in these past few months than I have seen in my entire life.
Do you want to go back to England? Why don't I speak to Lady Hester?
No, no, no. No, no. I beg you, please don't. I am her slave now.
Shahab II, Emir of Damascus. In 5 months, this is the 18th person in my household to be murdered. The 18th. And you knew this one. Bhutan, to whom you so kindly extended the hand of friendship. Are you going to continue to close your eyes to the effronteries of the Shambas? Criminals without a god. Plunderers, assassins, infidels. Men who refuse to convert to Islam. I demand that you put all warriors of the Bekaa Plains under the command of the Baba Aga immediately. He has 3 days, no longer.
Badia, there's a massive crowd gathering in front of Notre Dame shouting, "Long live Louis XVIII! And down with Napoleon!"
So what is that supposed to mean?
It's over, it's over, it's over. What do you think? Napoleon's forces have been defeated. He's in exile on Elba. It's the beginning of the end. It's the revolution.
No, my friend. The French had their revolution 25 years ago, once and for all.
Everyone knows you were a fervent supporter of the Emperor.
I'll do the same as that crowd, my friend. Listen to them. They're shouting, "Long live King Louis XVIII" at the tops of their voices. Last week they bawled out, "Long live the Emperor." I'm going to do the same as these pragmatic Frenchmen. Stop. Stop everything and bring me the opening pages. Quick.
My only hope is that all this commotion will permit us to return, finally, to our beloved Spain.
Sire, recently Europe seemed to be striding towards a disaster that threatened to plunge her once again into barbarism. God has delivered your majesty as if to teach every nation that the best of all possible gifts heaven can bestow on earth is that of an enlightened and virtuous monarch. Replace that page with this one.
Vive Louis XVIII le catholique! Vive le roi!
So, Monsieur Didot, you really think my life could be of any interest to the French?
Not only the French, my lady, I'm certain of that. And everything I've seen since convinces me of the fact.
I am called Maleki, Monsieur Didot.
Humble apologies. Maleki.
I am certain that you have the best of intentions, but I refuse to satisfy the thirst for the exotic that appears to grip your readers. Full of disgust and utter weariness, I've fled Europe. Its mere mention fills me with dread. At the heart of everything, there is just God and faith.
On that we are both agreed, Maleki.
I doubt it, sir. The God you believe in is the God who comprehends and pardons, while my God demands and punishes.
It's in my nature to achieve my desires through gentleness, and persuasion rather than fear and the threat of punishment.
That means you still believe in free will and the innate goodness of men.
I'm a Christian, believing in Jesus Christ.
But wasn't it Christ who said, "I may speak to you in parables, but he who comes after me will speak to you in spirit and in truth"?
Very true, those are the words of Christ.
And so I am waiting for him, the last prophet, the one that will finally speak the truth. Here in my palace, there are holy men praying day and night, praying to hasten his coming.
Sadly, I see I have no choice but to give up my idea of publishing a book about you. He would have been the companion to one by a friend of yours, whom I have the honor of knowing. He was most insistent that I find you.
Ali Bey. I presented that quadrant to him at a ceremony for the Royal Astronomical Society in London. Seems like such a long time ago.
Maleki? What's the matter?
It's nothing, a moment of weakness. When you return to Paris, do tell Prince Ali Bey that the prophecy is now a reality, and he has a faithful friend in the Orient. must go to them, excuse me. Baba Aga, I want to see every one of your warrior spears bearing the head of a Shamba. And in this sack, the greatest prize, the head of Tabrak, the chief of the Shambas. We shall send it to Emir Bashir to be nailed to the gates of Damascus for 40 days and 40 nights. To kill a Shamba is to honor Allah and honor Islam. This accursed tribe must be wiped forever from the face of the earth. Spare no one. Do you hear me? By all you believe in. Swear on it!
Frozen to the spot with fear. I don't know what distressed me most, the malevolent power of this demonic woman, or the blind fanaticism of those men ready to follow her into the fires of hell.
So, what was the outcome of this insane act?
An appalling massacre. A terrible bloodbath. Here, read it for yourself. The full horror story in black and white.
Hundreds murdered. Villages razed to the ground. Young and old slaughtered side by side. Babies butchered and women violated. The severed heads of the Shamba sent to Damascus and displayed on posts. And the tragic irony of it all is that the Shamba chief Tabrak escaped capture and, regrettably, is still at large. Lady Hester failed to stop the real culprit.
Forgive me, dear friend, for judging her so harshly. I know of your attachment.
I see that you speak both as a friend and as a man of kind heart.
I am well aware that you're still in love with this woman. As I am absolutely sure this passion is reciprocated by her. That's what makes her still seem human.
Lady Hester's a spirited horse carried along in a wild race. Only a person in whom she has complete trust and to whom she has nothing to prove can soothe her and bring her back to her senses.
You?
Yes, me. Thanks to Talleyrand, I convinced King Louis XVIII of my plan and have his endorsement. My project in Morocco is of great interest to him. I think I'll make my way there via the mountains of Syria. She needs me. I must go to her.
Are you actually saying you want to see her again? What part of this don't you understand? She's become a fanatic, a criminal.
I forbid you to insult Lady Hester. She's a woman of distinction.
Open your eyes. Woman of distinction indeed. Are you blind? You who fought so hard to abolish slavery, can't you see she's made slaves of the very women in her tribe? I've no doubt that this Boutin was her secret lover.
I forbid you to speak of her that way! I forbid you! To aim for their powder supplies to do the most damage.
chamber, over there.
That's my watch. I lost it.
The Shamba are very superstitious. Kill him and they'll believe it's a curse. They'll run away in fear. It's our only hope.
He's too far.
I'm not ready, Aisha. Tell him I've gone to Constantinople. No, tell him I'm dead.
Oh, Maleki, get a hold of yourself. This man has travelled a long way and faced 1,000 dangers to be with you again. He loves you.
I refuse his love. He made me wait too long. What right does he have to come back? The woman he knew doesn't exist anymore. I belong to another.
If that is the case, why not see him? Huh? Tell him exactly how you feel. Don't leave him in hope.
Lisbeth, it's clear to see you've never been in love.
There was just one place in my heart, and that was reserved for you. Thank you so much for calling me Lisbeth.
I'll show him to my chambers. Just go.
Yes, my lady.
Prince Ali Bey. This is a surprise.
I am as troubled as you are, my lady. I have forbidden myself to think of you for so long. And here I find you again. As alluring as ever.
They tell me you were attacked by the Shamba, that you almost died. I was also told that you killed their chief, Tabrak. If what they say is true, you will have brought me the most precious of gifts.
I prepared them myself.
Thank you, Miss Williams, thank you.
Miss Williams is so settled in this country that she's now known as Aisha. You'll upset her if you dare call her anything else. True, Aisha?
Yes, Maleki.
All of this must appear very strange to you, Prince Ali. I would suppose that you are well aware of the disagreeable revelations that have appeared in various publications penned by Monsieur Didot. Isn't that why you've come?
I'm here because I love you.
You were in love with Lady Hester, niece of the Prime Minister William Pitt. But do you love Maleki, Queen of Palmyra, who ordered the destruction of an entire tribe of degenerates, who would do it all again if necessary?
I had hoped, I admit, that you would denounce the awful accusations the European press has made.
God would not wish me to favor the needs of the innocent over my obligation to punish their oppressors.
Who can speak for God? Who can prejudge his will? The entire Quran is forgiveness. Each verse begins with, "In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate."
Maleki, behold, the head of Tabrak. He's dead at last.
So after your pilgrimage to Mecca, you'll return to Morocco?
Yes, Maleki, I'm going to Morocco to fulfill my destiny. People acclaim me. The most ordinary citizen will watch out for me, so they can kiss my clothes or the flanks of my horse as I make my way.
I know they will rejoice wildly when they hear of my return. I have no doubt of my destiny as Sultan. Perhaps Caliph. I want to hold on to traditions and beliefs, but open my country to the world, to be treated as an equal with the monarchies in Spain, France, and England.
The monarchs of France, Spain, and England? You, an ally of the misguided, the infidels? Please don't harp at these notions. Get them to embrace the principles and the cause of Allah. And if they desist, they must be killed. It is written in the Holy Book.
In whose book? Yours? You are rambling, Lady Hester. You don't know...
I am Maleki.
Maleki. So be it. You know, of course, that Maleki is not only a title, but also a responsibility. Instead of satisfying your anger and hate by citing the Holy Book, you should rather be its servant. In order to lead your people really profoundly, meditate its message of peace and goodness.
The masses want to be led with determination. They are unschooled, but they know the difference between believers and the infidels. And they follow me as they see the intoxication of my belief.
Belief requires no other intoxication than the love of God. Islam is a religion of tolerance, venerating the prophets Moses and Jesus. It honors Mary.
Such blasphemy. What use is that kind of truth to me when I dream of combat and victory? The only truth is to war with the infidels. A war until victory. Total victory. Why do we argue, Prince? You speak like a man, civilized like an infidel. It's not possible for there to be love between Maleki and Prince Ali Bey.
Sadly, our paths are diverging. Heaven grant that Muslims will not tear themselves apart in Allah's name, as we ourselves are doing. Confrontation between Muslims will drag man into relentless war, and will plunge the world into blood and fire.
Yes, Maleki, your queen. Let me share with you the triumph of my coronation.
She will become Queen of Palmyra, the new Zenobia.
I'll never see him again. Lisbeth, I'm the unhappiest woman in the world. And probably the most foolish.
My lady, don't distress yourself so. I promise that the one you call your prince isn't worth a single one of those tears. No. An envoy from the new English consul in Damascus, Mr. Bowditch, came to give me this letter for you.
My lady, a captain of the Spanish army named Domingo Padilla took on a false identity and passed himself off as the Muslim Prince Ali Bey. His mission was to overthrow the Sultan to make way for occupation of the country by Catholic Spain. I knew him personally, and it was I who sent you the beautiful necklace from Marrakesh. He'd made for you. Despicable creature. He betrayed me from the very start. His words were all lies. A Christian, an enemy of Islam. Are the cakes we're making for him prepared?
Yes.
Bring them.
No, Maleki, no. I beg of you. You love him.
I love him, and he must die. Now take these cakes to him.
No.
Take them to him immediately.
Good luck, Prince. God bless.
On the 1st of September, 1818, on the road to Damascus, Domingo Badia, more famously known as Ali Bey, died. He had been poisoned. 20 years later, on the 20th of June, 1838, worn down by madness, terror, and abject poverty, Lady Hester Stanhope, or Maleki, Queen of Palmyra, also perished. Until her dying day, she waited in vain for the arrival of the last prophet of mankind.